Hey, what's up guys? Today I'm going to be doing a review on the Everlast Powerlock 2.0 leather Velcro boxing gloves. So check it out. Alright guys, so today I'm doing a close-up weigh-in and review on the Everlast Powerlock 2.0 Velcro leather boxing gloves. I got it in 16 ounces in this kind of teal and light blue colorway. I've done a review on the lace-up versions as well as a synthetic leather version, so wanted to do the genuine leather version of the Velcro as well. I know a lot of you guys have been requesting it, so really the main difference obviously between this and the lace-up is going to be the closure system. Everything else with the glove is pretty much identical, but we'll kind of go over it for those of you that haven't watched the lace-up review. So full genuine leather construction. These gloves are manufactured in India. You can see that the leather over the knuckle area, since this is kind of the contact point where you're landing your punches, is kind of starting to ripple a little bit on the left glove, a little bit of wrinkling, and I've noticed that with the right glove. The odd thing is I didn't get this wrinkling with my lace-up glove, so I'm not sure if it has something to do with the kind of leather hide they use in this particular pair, but my lace-ups didn't get that wrinkling that you see with this. So just something I noticed. You have the Everlast logo in the blue on both gloves. It says Powerlock on the thumb, and then coming down to the wrist section, you have the padded Velcro strap that's all leather as well with the blue piping around it. And the back of the wrist has about an inch to maybe an inch and a quarter of firm density foam padding, and about a quarter of an inch on the inside of the wrist. Just like the synthetics, it has the same kind of D-ring closure system that you didn't have in the original Powerlocks, which used your standard Velcro system. So much like the laces, the big feature on the Powerlock 2.0s is how they enhanced the wrist support and the closure system. So again, you have kind of this overlapping D-ring closure with the flap that goes over to give you more wrist support. Ventilated holes on the palm, a leather attached thumb, as well as a really nice large grip bar as well, and a little bit bigger opening for where the piping is compared to the originals as well. Satin nylon liner on the inside, and then blue piping at the bottom. So kind of gave you guys a close-up of it, the edges where the stitching is at, where the thumb meets the index finger. There's the logo again. The leather itself has a more of a satin finish to it. It's not a super shiny leather. There's the piping around the thumb. The stitching all looks pretty solid, and you can see that there. It looks good. Coming down to the wrist section again on this glove, a good amount of padding right there as well. So let's go ahead and put this on the scale. See what these weigh in at. Hopefully they're pretty close to 16 ounces, and they are. So this one is almost exactly at 16 ounces, 16.1 for the right glove, and the left glove is at 16.1. So they're almost exactly on weight on the scale, and exactly on weight with each other, which is great to see. So let's go ahead and do the review. Hey, what's up guys? Carlo here, and today I'm doing a review on the Everlast Powerlock 2.0 leather Velcro boxing gloves. I got mine in this light teal and light blue colorway. Kind of reminds me of Easter. I don't know why. It has kind of a pastel look to it. I got mine in 16 ounces, and you can also get this, I believe, in 14 and 12 ounces as well. Colorways, they have white, which is like an all white with a little bit of gray. They have an all black with a little bit of gray, as well as a neon yellow. I think they have the kind of that bright reddish orange as well. If I can remember. I know they have it in synthetic, and I'm pretty sure Everlast will come out with other colorways as time goes by, just like they did with the original Powerlock. So I'm kind of interested to see what other colorways they come out with. Now, I did a review both on the synthetic version of the Velcro glove as well as the genuine leather lace-up version. So if you guys are interested in those reviews, I'll put that in the description box so you can click on those to check those out. But I wanted to get my hands on a pair of the genuine leather Velcro versions as well. It's one of the more requested videos I do a review on. And just like the lace-up versions, I was really impressed with how Everlast has improved on the original Powerlocks without losing the identity of the Powerlocks, if that makes sense. A lot of times, sometimes companies will um, almost do too much, like they try to outdo themselves from the previous model, and it ends up kind of working against them. And instead of they're in their favor, it goes against their favor, if that makes sense. So I feel like they kept the good elements of the original Powerlocks, and then they added to that and made it an even better looking glove, or a better performing glove, excuse me. So when you're looking at the glove, it actually has the same exact profile as the original Powerlocks. So same width and height, or length if you want to call it, with this glove. It uses full genuine leather construction. The gloves are made in India. The leather itself has more of a satin finish. It's not super shiny, and it's not a super textured leather. It's more of a smooth finish. You have the Everlast logo on the back of the glove. It's a medium profile in size. It's not overly huge, and it's not an overly compact glove as well. To me, the Powerlocks is kind of like Everlast's answer to like the winning MS gloves, or even with some other really popular training gloves, like the rival training gloves, and the fact that they wanted a glove that you could really do everything in the gym with, whether it's sparring, hitting the heavy bag, doing mitt work, whatever it may be. To me, the Powerlocks are kind of right there in the middle of that, and that was kind of the purpose behind them. So there's the leather. You also have the Powerlock on the thumb, the Velcro strap on both sides, on the front palm side as well as on the back of the wrist, is going to be the most obvious change from the original Powerlocks. You can see it uses a leather D-ring closure, so it basically implements a ratcheting type system with the Velcro strap. It's also padded, which is about maybe 1/8 of an inch, maybe a little bit thicker, and gives you much more support. And compared to the original, you have about 1.25 inches of padding on the back of the wrist, polyester nylon liner, that's satin, about 1/4 of an inch on the inside of the wrist, and then again, you have that D-ring closure. So basically what you're doing is when you put your hand in here and you tie these off, it really locks it in, and it pulls this side of the glove and kind of just brings everything together nice and tight. You also have, go ahead and close that off, ventilated holes right here on the palm, a larger opening where the piping is at, so your hand can breathe a little bit more. And by that I mean you don't feel so restricted on the inside part of your portion of your hand. You have that kind of teal colored piping right there, leather attached thumb, nice large grip bar that has good density to it and is not overly small, and ventilated holes right there as well. Quality wise on these gloves are actually really nice. I mean, I couldn't really find any, too many flaws with the glove. The only thing I would say is the stitching probably could be cleaned up in certain areas, like where the thumb meets the index finger. You can see a little bit of excess material right there. Let me take these gloves off so I can show you a little bit better. You can see some of the threads starting to kind of pull out right there a little bit. And then something I noticed with this glove, I didn't have that issue with my lace-up versions, was that I noticed that the leather starts to wrinkle a lot on both gloves, especially on the striking surface. You can see just how wrinkly it is. And every time I'm punching, what's happening is it's basically pushing the leather back. So you're starting to see it kind of bunch up towards this section of the glove and push the leather back. So to me, that's definitely a craftsmanship issue. I feel like they could have probably stretched the leather out a little bit more to let it seal flush against the foam on the inside. But again, just kind of more of an aesthetic, although the wrinkling is kind of an issue later down the road. As long as I take care of this, it shouldn't be an issue, but anytime you get this wrinkling, that's what's going to start inviting cracking in the leather. So it's really important, if you do get something like that, is to start to use leather conditioner so it keeps the leather nice and pliable. And you have to remember that leather it's like human skin. It was on a cow before, so it's really important to condition the leather so that it stays in good shape and stays well conditioned. But overall, I mean, the piping looks clean, the stitching, the grip bar, the outside edges right there look really clean. It's a really well balanced glove. As you guys saw on the scale earlier, the weight is pretty much exactly on point. For an Everlast training glove, that's amazing to see. So what that tells me is that's not by coincidence. You don't just accidentally have that weigh exactly the same weight and almost exactly on weight with 16 ounces. To me, that's by design. They meant to do that. So I feel that Everlast is listening to their customer base, and they're looking at the fine details when it comes to their equipment, which is great to see. I mean, I know they get a bad rep, especially for their entry-level stuff, like the stuff you can find at the department store, their synthetic entry level, like $29, $39 gloves. So, and rightfully so, some of that stuff isn't really good quality, but I feel like they've done a really nice job of keeping the weight exactly where it needs to be at with this glove. The glove is well balanced. It's not too top heavy or bottom heavy, so you have a good amount of stability through the midsection of the glove. And then the foam padding is a little bit more denser than the original Powerlocks as well. They use a multi-layer foam padding. To me, it has kind of a medium to firm density. It's definitely not a puncher's glove where it's super soft. Probably one of the biggest complaints with the original is that the foam would break down really quickly. I haven't had any issues with that, but again, only time will tell the more I use this glove to find out how the foam holds up. But so far, it's held up well for the past couple of weeks being in my rotation. Comfort of the glove, obviously sliding this glove onto your hand, it's a very comfortable feeling glove. The noticeable thing in here is going to be the wrist support feels fantastic. A huge jump up than the originals, which just use a standard wraparound Velcro strap. One thing I would have loved to have was maybe a little bit of overlap of Velcro here, because you can see that if you have a skinnier wrist like I do, and you lock it in, you get a little bit of an overlap right there. If you were to use these gloves for sparring, that's definitely an issue, because that can end up scraping your sparring partner, and that's not good, especially the sharp part of the Velcro. It's not the soft part, like that feels like felt. It's the sharp, scratchy surface of the Velcro. So to me, that's an issue. If they could have extended the Velcro a little bit more, then that would have kind of held it down. Either that or adjust the size of the strap accordingly so you don't have that extra lip right there. But the wrist support feels great. Thumb feels really, really nice. The thumb piping does take a little bit of breaking in, but not much. It kind of softened up, and with my hand wraps on, kind of opened this section of the thumb over like maybe 2 to 3 days, and it feels good now. But it's not overly short, and I feel like the thumb doesn't push down, even though you can see the strap kind of pull down. I still feel like my thumb doesn't jam at the top, so it's nice. The actual grip bar is in the perfect spot, and the finger compartment is nice and deep. It's pretty much perfect when it comes to the finger compartment. I don't feel like I have too much material that's bunching up on the inside. It's a perfect width and depth, and it's not too narrow to where it crowds my fingers, not too wide to where I feel like my hand shifts around, so that feels really good as well. And it has a semi-broken in feel. There's going to be some breaking in that's needed. The more you use this during your training, the more you sweat in it, the more you hit this on the heavy bag, it'll start to loosen this glove up. But overall, it feels really good, and I like the feel of this glove. Protection and performance, definitely more on the protective side. You get good bang on top of this glove, but it is definitely more on the medium to firm side. So if you land on those two front knuckles, you can definitely feel it and you know it, but it does a really good job of absorbing shock. Also, the punch surface is nice and flat. It's not overly rounded to where you feel like your punches kind of glance off the heavy bag. Sometimes you get those gloves that are way too rounded over the knuckle area, typically the molded foam type of gloves, and when you land a shot, it doesn't feel like you're really landing flush with the target. It feels like it's almost like it's bouncing off the heavy bag. And with this, you get that nice feeling of landing and getting a nice square punch. And so definitely like the protection and performance, but more on the protective end. If you're looking more for a softer puncher style Mexican glove, then you're not going to get it with this. If you want something more protective, well balanced, you can use for sparring, good shock absorption, especially your heavy bag, and then this is the right glove for you. Cost-wise, these gloves are $99, which again is a great thing. The fact that they made the 2.0s and kept it the same price as the originals is great. I mean, sometimes you see companies that will kind of increase the price with the new version of the gloves by $10 to $20, but they kept it the same price, which I'm really happy with. Overall, I think it's a great glove. I think it's definitely an improvement over the originals. So at the price point that they're selling it at, I think it's a great price. And especially with the holidays around, I know that Everlast typically does discount deals, so keep an eye out for that as well. One thing that I do want to see is them put these actually on their website, because right now, as you go to the Everlast website, they only have the synthetic version of their glove. So I'm not too sure when they're going to come out with the genuine leather versions, but hopefully that's soon. So if you guys have any questions or comments, make sure you guys leave them down below in the comments box. I'll put the link in the description box where you can find these Everlast Powerlock 2.0 Velcro boxing gloves. I'll see you guys later. Take care.